Have you ever stood in front of the mirror running your fingers through your hair and wondered, why do I look a bit off today? Once your hair was thick, voluminous, and full of life. But now it seems thinner, flatter, and no longer holds that youthful bounce it once did. Maybe you've tried going to the salon hoping for a fresh, younger look only to end up feeling like it's aged you instead. If this sounds familiar, don't worry. You're far from alone. Over time, hair changes, often not in the ways we wish. It can become fragile, lose volume, or be much harder to style than before. While aging is natural and something to be embraced, feeling vibrant, radiant, and full of energy is something every woman deserves. The right hairstyle isn't just about looking good on the outside. It's a way to rediscover confidence and awaken that youthful, lively woman within you. Today, I want to share with you 5 fantastic hairstyles for women over 50, styles that make you shine, look noticeably younger, yet never lose your unique character. But let me be clear. We're not chasing youth to be someone we're not. We're striving to become the best, freshest, and most confident version of ourselves. I'll help you understand which hairstyles suit your face shape and hair texture, and why they work so well. Plus, I'll share some easy styling tips from experts to keep your hair looking its absolute best. Before we begin, remember this. You don't have to cut your hair short if you don't want to. You don't need to dye your hair black to look younger. And you certainly don't have to stick with the same hairstyle you've had for decades just because you're used to it. Instead, let's find a hairstyle that highlights your natural beauty, accentuates your best features, and perfectly complements your hair texture. If you're ready to embrace a fresh, youthful, and confident new look, then let's dive in. And if you already have a hairstyle in mind that you want to try, don't hesitate to share it in the comments below. If you find it interesting, don't forget to click subscribe and like below to support the author and spread valuable lessons to many others. Now let's get started. 1. Gentle fringe, small detail. Big impact. Just a little fringe, and my whole world changed. I'm 65 years old. As a woman who has weathered the storms of middle age, I never really thought much about beautifying myself. My husband still loves me. Our children are grown and well-behaved. So what if my hair has turned silver? I live simply hair tied neatly at the back. No dye, no styling, no fancy cuts. I believed that was enough. Until the day I attended a party with my husband. It was the 30th anniversary celebration of his company, an important, formal occasion. I wore a deep plum-au dye, dusted off my long unused high heels, and kept my hair the same, a low bun, at the nape exposing my forehead and bare face, honest and plain. I didn't want to stand out. I only wished to be quietly beside him, one step behind, as I always had been. But life had other plans. I overheard them. A few young female employees giggling by the drinks table. Can you believe it? That's the boss's wife. Looks like an old lady escorting the boss to the party. If only she knew how to do her hair, maybe a fringe or something to hide those wrinkles. I stood frozen just behind the door, listening to every word. Not because they were wrong, but because they were painfully right. My forehead was creased with wrinkles. My face showed the unmistakable marks of time. I used to think I didn't need to hide it. But that night I felt hurt. On the way home, I was silent. My husband held my hand tightly, as if apologizing for something he never caused. The next morning, I went to the hairdresser. My regular stylist looked surprised. "Are you thinking of a change today?" I nodded. Just a little fringe. She suggested trying a curtain fringe, a gentle middle part that frames the sides of the forehead. It doesn't need frequent trimming, doesn't weigh down the face, but cleverly hides the wrinkles on my forehead. She also tried a few delicate, wispy, French-style fringe strands, soft and subtle, enough to stop the light from highlighting every crease on my skin. I looked at myself in the mirror. Something strange happened, just a few strands of hair, yet my face softened. My eyes were no longer drawn upwards to my forehead, they held the gaze. I saw myself again, the woman who once shone brightly in her 30s, who made my husband fall in love just with a smile and the sparkle in her eyes behind that thin fringe. The stylist said, "Your hair isn't thick, so a wispy fringe suits you." I cut it, slightly angled, to give your face a longer, softer look. She also advised, "Remember to use some serum to keep the fringe soft. Avoid it looking greasy or clumped. And don't cut it too thick or straight, that can make your face look heavy." That evening, I posted a selfie to my old friends group, just to capture the moment I dared to change after decades of living just enough. Unexpectedly, the comments flooded in. "You look so much younger. How does that fringe suit you so well? I thought you were the youngest in the group." Honestly, I felt shy, but also happy. Happy in the way a child feels when praised for stepping bravely out of their comfort zone. 2 weeks later, I went to another party with my husband this time, a birthday celebration for one of his old colleagues. Still wearing my deep plume au dye, still those high heels. But this time, my hair was loose, the wispy fringe gently resting on my forehead. And this time, as we entered, a young woman came up to talk. "Are you the boss's wife? I've heard about you for ages." I smiled and nodded. "Yes, I'm the old lady who took him to the party last time." She was startled, then blushed and looked embarrassed. I didn't blame her. I only felt pity for the woman I had once been, who thought she didn't need to look beautiful. That evening, my husband looked at me for a long time and said, "I've known you all these years, but I've never seen you look like this before. Gentle, soft, and absolutely captivating." I laughed, snuggling into his shoulder. Just a little fringe. But I knew for me, it was the first step to love myself again, even at an age that is no longer young. A small change, but a milestone that I deserve kindness from myself, and that beauty is never too late. And if you've read this far, don't think you have to chop off all your hair or dye it a bold color. Sometimes, just a few gentle fringe strands are enough to change you in a way that makes people look twice. And the miracle is, you will also look at yourself again for the first time with eyes full of love. 2. Side-swept pixie bold. Elegant and incredibly stylish Claire lives in the suburbs of London with the husband she once deeply loved. They've been together for over 20 years, raised 2 children, and built what seemed like a solid family. But life doesn't always go as planned, and Claire never expected to face the painful betrayal that would change everything. It all began when Claire discovered secret messages between her husband and another woman. The feeling of betrayal tore her heart apart. Every memory, every promise suddenly felt like a lie. Claire found herself lost, no longer recognizing the man she once trusted. After days of inner turmoil, Claire decided it was time for a change, not just within her soul, but also in her outward appearance. She wanted to cut ties with the painful past and renew herself, so she could move forward stronger and more confident. In her moment of uncertainty, Claire came across a photo on social media of a side-swept pixie haircut. At first, she thought short hair wouldn't suit me. Claire had always kept her hair long, straight, and simple, never extravagant. But now she wanted something completely different, a statement of style, a way to express boldness and independence. She decided to visit a renowned salon in the city center and met Thomas, a young, creative, and passionate stylist. When Claire shared her feelings and desire for change, Thomas smiled and introduced the side-swept pixie. This is not just a haircut. Claire Thomas said it's a statement of confidence and taking control of your life. This style will sculpt sharp lines on your face, emphasizing your eyes, cheekbones, and jawline. It will highlight your modern, strong beauty. Claire was surprised by his explanation. Thomas continued, moreover, the side-swept pixie works wonders for thinning hair, as it removes excess weight and creates natural volume at the crown. This makes the hair look fuller and more vibrant. Claire thought about her gradually thinning hair. She never imagined a haircut could change so much, but now she felt a small spark of hope inside her. This style is very modern and edgy, Thomas added, and especially suits natural gray hair, creating a sophisticated and confident look perfect for you. He asked Claire about her face shape. You have an oval face, right? Or if it's heart-shaped or long, this style suits well too. It's perfect for those who want a neat, easy-to-manage look but still want to express clear personality. Claire nodded in agreement. She didn't want to spend much time on daily hair care but still wanted to look tidy, elegant, and striking. As Thomas began cutting her hair, he gave Claire some styling tips. You should use a texturizing spray to add volume at the crown. This will make your hair look thicker and more lively. Gently sweeping your fringe to one side softens the facial features, creating a look that is both gentle and modern. If you want, you can add a few subtle highlights to create depth and dimension. For you, since your face is slightly round, I'll keep the fringe a bit longer to balance and slim your face. Claire felt reassured by his thoughtful advice. When she looked in the mirror after the cut, she couldn't hide her happiness. The new side-swept pixie made her face appear sharper, younger, and full of life. I didn't realize I could be this strong and confident, Claire said to Thomas with sparkling eyes. This haircut feels like part of my healing journey. In the weeks that followed, Claire lived a new life, strong, independent, and no longer overshadowed by the past. Every morning, she would spray a little texturizer, sweep her fringe lightly to the side, and step out with a radiant smile. Friends and colleagues couldn't stop complimenting Claire's new look. They sensed the change not only on the outside, but also in her spirit. Claire felt reborn, and the side-swept pixie had become a symbol of her freedom and boldness. Claire's story is proof that even after deep wounds, every woman can find inner strength to change and renew herself. A haircut is not merely about appearance. It's a new beginning, a way to redefine yourself and walk forward with unshakable confidence. If you are at a crossroads in your life, searching for a change to refresh yourself, then the side-swept pixie might just be the answer. It is perfect for those who want to be bold, elegant, and individual, especially if you have an oval, heart-shaped, or long face, and appreciate a neat, low-maintenance style that makes thin hair look thicker. And as Claire experienced, with just one brave step, you can make a big difference in your life, from your soul to your appearance. That is Claire's story. The English woman who found confidence and a new style overcoming betrayal with a bold and elegant side-swept pixie haircut. 3. The long shoulder-length shag, naturally effortless and youthful. Mrs. Linda had just turned 57, an age when many women begin to notice the marks time leaves on their hair and face. She was a cheerful woman, always enjoying a laugh with friends and living a fairly active life. But recently, she had started feeling a little uneasy and worried after hearing some less than flattering remarks from her close friends. One Sunday afternoon, Mrs. Linda met up with her longtime circle of friends at their favorite cafe. They chatted animatedly about life, family, and grandchildren. But this time, instead of compliments, she heard some criticism about her appearance. "Linda, your hair looks so stiff and dated. Why don't you try something more youthful and relaxed?" one friend remarked. Hearing this, Mrs. Linda felt a little hurt. She knew her hair was thinning, and she mostly kept it long and straight as usual, but had never really thought she needed a change. "I'd like to try something new, but I don't know what would suit my thinning hair," she confided. Another friend quickly chimed in. "You should try a long, shoulder-length shag. It's very natural and carefree. It's all the rage, and really makes thinning hair look fuller." Curious, Mrs. Linda looked up the long, shoulder-length shag style that evening. Just the name sounded youthful, easygoing, and unrestrictive. At home, she searched online, studied photos, and carefully read why this hairstyle was so popular, especially among women in their 40s and older. She understood why the long, shoulder-length shag was considered an effective, youthful choice. Firstly, this style creates natural movement and volume, she read. The softly layered cut gives hair a fuller, fluffier appearance, exactly what thinning hair needs as it ages. She nodded. Indeed, her hair was getting thinner, and the previous long, straight style only emphasized that flaw. Secondly, the shag softens facial features. Unlike straight hair, it helps blur fine lines and makes the face look more balanced and natural. Mrs. Linda thought of her reflection over the past few days, fine wrinkles beginning to form around her eyes and mouth. Perhaps this new hairstyle would help her feel more confident every time she looked in the mirror. Thirdly, the shag is very versatile, she continued reading. You can wear it naturally slightly waved, straightened, or tousled, all work beautifully. It doesn't require meticulous styling to look good. She liked this a lot. She had never been someone who fussed over hair care, so an easy-to-manage but stylish cut was perfect. She then read some small tips to enhance the shag look. Adding light fringe or curtain bangs can soften a high forehead or the forehead area. Using texture sprays or sea salt sprays can create a natural tousled effect. Cut moderate layers, not too many, if your hair is very thin. Mrs. Linda calculated in her mind she could definitely apply these tips. Finally, she read about who this style suited best: women with naturally slightly wavy hair. Oval, round, or square faces, the layers help adjust and balance facial proportions. Gently touching her hair, Mrs. Linda noted she had a round face, slightly wavy natural hair, and thinning strands. Clearly, the long shoulder-length shag suited her perfectly. The next evening, she called her usual hair salon and booked an appointment with Sarah, a young, friendly, and experienced stylist. When she met Sarah, Mrs. Linda shared the critical comments, her worries about thinning hair, and her wish to try a natural, youthful style that wasn't too complicated to maintain. Sarah smiled encouragingly. "You're absolutely right to try the long, shoulder-length shag. It suits your age and hair condition perfectly. It'll add volume, softness, and it's very easy to style every day." The haircut session was cheerful and full of hope. Sarah cut soft layered waves to add volume, trimmed light bangs to cover Mrs. Linda's slightly high forehead, then spritzed some sea salt spray for a natural, relaxed look. Looking in the mirror, Mrs. Linda was amazed. The long, shoulder-length shag truly made her face appear younger, softer, and more vibrant. The wrinkles weren't as obvious, her hair looked thicker, and it moved naturally with ease. In the following days, Mrs. Linda found hair care very simple. Just a bit of texturizing spray and a few gentle strokes for a stylish, youthful look.